Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Laboratory technicians are on a course to restore credibility to labs island-wide through a 3-day training course. The program hopes to make exporting out of St. Lucia a lot easier. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
The Commonwealth Standards Network is hoping to restore credibility to local laboratories through a 3-day training course. Representatives from the private and public sector are receiving training in the Standard for Labs. The standard is ISO 17025 and looks at requirements for quality management within the labs. Joy Quinlan, who is a forensic DNA analyst attached to the St. Lucia Forensic Science Laboratory, said the workshop is of utmost importance.
We're here at the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards to really dig into the ISO 17025 standard, and this is a standard that is important for laboratories who are interested in accreditation, and for labs to be accredited, they need to follow a standard which gives the public and anybody, their clients and other stakeholders, that trust, that confidence that they need to believe that the work that is being done is done to the quality that they require.
Meanwhile, head of the certification department of the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, Xanth Debusson, said the end goal is to have a fully accredited laboratory, which would mean that sufficient mechanisms are put in place to ensure that results are reliably accurate. She said it means that once tested, when goods, for example, cross the borders, there would be no need to test the product again.
It's a train-the-trainer course, and the objective is that at the end of the 3 days, the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards will have a cadre of professionals, a cadre of trainers, who will then be able to train other persons within the country. And this is part of the Commonwealth Standards Network project, the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, and by extension, of course, St. Lucia is benefiting from that particular standard, which looks at implementing standards so that organizations, laboratories are able to, when implement that standards, it can actually facilitate trade. So with the laboratories, of course, we would hope that when persons are trained, that they would implement the standards within the various laboratories, and the whole objective is that we're hoping that they can become accredited.
Team leader of the Commonwealth Standards Network, Charles Barker, said the program has 3 main objectives. Barker said without all these standards, it would be difficult to export from St. Lucia.
One is to increase intra-Commonwealth trade via the adoption of international standards. The second one is to help and assist in the strengthening of the national quality infrastructure of the country. And the third one is to have standard awareness known to all the islands so that they know the value of standards. If you don't have credible test results, credible measurements through metrology, credible product testing, then you cannot export. But to do all that, you need to use international standards like the ISO standards, IEC, those are electrical product standards, or alternatively the Codex Alimentarius for food safety, and the IPPC, the International Plant Protection Commission, that is for imports of plants or goods, and then also as well the OIE, which is animals.
One of the main aims of the program is that participants will acquire the skills to train others on the requirements of the standard. The Commonwealth Standards Network is financed by UK aid and is implemented by British Standards Institution of the UK. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
The long-standing education institution, Castries Comprehensive Secondary School, celebrated 45 years on the 10th of May. The school hosted a special assembly and raising of the flag, symbolic of their mission to forge ahead towards 100% excellence. Solange Alfred reports.
Beaming with pride, faculty, staff, and students of the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School embraced their status of 45 years strong. At a special assembly held on the school's compounds, those in attendance were privy to the raising of the flag, theatrical production, and an address by keynote speaker, High Commissioner of Canada, Her Excellency Marie Legault. Principal of Castries Comprehensive, Marva Daniel, says the assembly created the atmosphere to show thanks to benefactors who have contributed to the continued development of the institution.
We need today to visibly express our thanks to those persons highlighted today. And so the Canadian High Commissioner is here, Royalton is here, our parliamentary representative is here, we have our district representative for education, Miss Martha Foster, she's here to witness our school expressing gratitude, which is so meaningful. And so our students learn to be thankful, to be grateful, and not just disregard, the efforts of others in the plight to ensure that we forge towards excellence.
Also in attendance was Parliamentary Rep for Castries North, Stevenson King. He says the intimate nature of the event did not take away from the importance for the school to show appreciation to its generous benefactors.
Today we've got the Canadian High Commissioner, who's based in Barbados, coming forward to at least participate in the ceremony. And for the school itself, it is a means of demonstrating appreciation for the gift which was given and the continuing attention provided by the Canadian government, particularly in recent times with a High Commissioner who is so passionate, who is so committed, and who has demonstrated her willingness to assist even further and to convince the government of Canada to continue to support this institution.
For her part, High Commissioner of Canada, Excellency Marie Legault, says the school is a treasured possession that she holds dear to her heart. She praised the many efforts of key stakeholders who have continued to uplift CCSS.
I'm here this morning because we're raising the flag for the 45th anniversary of Castries Comprehensive Secondary School. This school is very important to me and to Canada. It's a very tangible example of our relationship. It was built 45 years ago on 31st of March by the Government of Canada as part of the 150 Maple Leaf schools that were built in the region, in the Caribbean. And there were 5 of those here in St. Lucia, including CCSS. I've become involved since the start of my tenure 3 years ago here in St. Lucia. I've become involved with the school. I've come here many times, and I'm amazed by what has been accomplished in the last few years in terms of collaboration between different entities, between the Government of Canada, between the Government of St. Lucia, of course, the Ministry of Education, the different ministry, the Ministry of Agriculture, Minister Stevenson, of course, and Canadian companies.
The student population of the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School rallied together to make the special assembly one that school officials will not soon forget. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Thank you, Solange. The management of Basic Blue and the National Workers' Union, NWU, have successfully completed industrial negotiations. Sales clerks employed with the company will all receive upward wage adjustments to their salaries, along with a reasonable improvement in fringe benefits. The new industrial agreement will run for a period of 3 years and is expected to be signed at the Department of Labor on Tuesday. Basic Blue operates out of Baywalk Mall in Rodney Bay, Grocery. Meanwhile, the management of First Citizens Investment Services and officials from the union met on Friday the 10th of May to establish the process and procedure to be followed during upcoming negotiations between the financial institution and the union. The management of the St. Lucia National Mental Wellness Center would like to inform the public that an appointment is required to receive services at the outpatient clinic at the facility. For appointments, you can call the Medical Records Department, which is open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The contact information for the Medical Records Department is 458-5974 or 458-5975 or 458-5976. The Health and Wellness Department wishes to thank the masses for their cooperation with this matter. Singer Rihanna is to launch a fashion label with French luxury goods group Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton. The label is called Fenty after the singer's full name, Robin Rihanna Fenty, and will launch in spring 2019. Rihanna will become the first woman of color to lead a house under the LVMH brand and the first woman to create an original brand for the group. The singer, who has 70 million followers on Instagram, is widely known for her bold fashion choices. Fenty, which will produce clothing, shoes, and accessories, is the first new label under the LVMH brand since 1987. The label will join around 70 brands already in the group, including Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and Givenchy. In a statement, Rihanna said that she had been given a unique opportunity to develop a fashion house in the luxury sector with no artistic limits. Stay with us. Sports News with Tennyson Glasgow is up next.